The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Deep from the bowels of the Macabre Theater Laboratory, we bring you Macabre Cast. Doc Mark and Karis, the Little Mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
100! There is nothing wrong with your YouTube dial. You are exactly where you should be. The slush puppy machine is on. Your favorite horror mag is on the rack. Welcome, monster kids, to the world of Macabre Cast. Newbies welcome, regulars welcome back, and worshippers, get out of here.
Yeah, the place where you'll hear up to at least 3 intro lead-ins every week.
Yeah, a place where you'll hear Karis the Little Mummy, a corpse with an attitude bigger than he is. But at least he has jokes.
Somebody has to lighten up this graveyard. I guess it'll just be me.
Please don't forget to subscribe and follow, and tell your friends to do the same. Even the one you tolerate because he's just so weird. Today we share the answers to the Horror Trivia Challenge, where hopefully some monster kid out there will take the crown as king or queen, or maybe we'll have a king and queen.
Okay, it's time for my joke now. What is super hot and scary at the same time?
I don't know, Sir Corpse-a-Lot. What is super hot and scary at the same time? Please tell me.
A ghost pepper.
And on that note, it's time for horror news.
Life's river shall rise, she said, open only the strong shall survive, she said, but I'm feeling quite weak, she said.
Shudder has officially now been around for 10 years. Starting this month, it will be celebrating all year. The celebration will kick off with their annual Halfway to Halloween, with deadly new titles being added each month. Lionsgate confirmed their American Psycho remake. Mike Flanagan is adapting Stephen King's Carrie into a series starring Millie Shapiro as the title character. This will be a Prime Video release. Insidious 6 has been confirmed for 2026. Stranger Things: The First Shadow is a documentary coming to Netflix this month. Can we just release the new season, please? And that's it for horror news.
She said.
And Brownie agrees. Brownie, the corpse-sniffing dog.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So here we are at last, episode 100. Who'da thunk? And it couldn't have happened without you, the Monster Kids. Most notably, the Drac Pack. Maria Monstalia was the first to send in a pic of her horror swag. That was back on episode 10. And here she is now to show her love for Macabre Cast in the language of her heritage.
Adoro il cast macabro.
Roughly translated, I love Macabre Cast in Italian. Thank you so much, Maria Monstalia. Hope to hear from you again soon. Back when this started, Karis, I don't know if you remember, but I really had doubts about this show in the beginning and whether it was people were interested and whether it was going to work.
Oh yeah, I know. remember.
And I don't know, Cars. Maybe Macabre Cast isn't doing it. Maybe this was a rotten idea and people just don't like it.
Not every idea is a success. Everything can't be, a hit. It's not the first time you've done something that failed on Macabre Theater.
No, gee, Cars, thanks for cheering me up.
You jump on here to tell you, don't you dare think anything is a failure. God bless you. And I, for one, and everyone else who listens regularly, Mark, appreciates every artistic and creative endeavor you have ever tried to broadcast out to us all. Just to spread a little joy in levity in this world, and I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you later.
Grim had faith in this project from the very beginning and really added so much to the show. And now we have Grim Twin. I mean, who'd have thought? Grim Kim, Scary Larry, Horror Chat Matt, Tina from Chicago were all the firsts. The birth of the Drac Pack. Horror Chat used to text everything in, and Scary Larry bought an app for his phone so he could have a voice here. And think of all the duds that we've avoided because of Scary. We can't thank him enough.
For the love of Osiris, don't we have a hard trivia challenge to get to? Well, don't we?
Yes, Karis, you are correct. We have a quest. A quest to find the king or queen or both of Macabre. But it is the 100th, and it's a time to reflect about where we were and where we are. So that's a little bit of what we're doing right now. So, slow your roll, and we'll get there. We'll get to it.
Hey there. I'm just giving you a shout out. This is Scarlett, and I just wanted to say that I love your show. I'm so glad that you're still doing it, and happy 100th episode. How freaking exciting is that? Have a great day. Love you.
That was Scarlett the Starlet, a listener that we have not heard from before. And so nice to hear from you, Scarlett. And hope to hear from you again sometime soon. Thank you so much. Amazingly, Karis, people ask questions about you all the time. Who you are, what you are all about. And I remember when first determining what to actually call you. Do you remember that?
Well, first off, I'm not amazed at all that people ask about me. I mean, I am a 3,000-year-old mummy. But something tells me we're going to hear memory music in a minute, and we're going to hear when you first talked about or asked what to call me.
How should I describe you to audiences out there? Are you like a baby mummy? A baby mummy?
I'm not a baby. I'm just little. A little mummy.
Oh, little mummy. Little mummy. Okay. Ah, the humble beginnings of Karis the Kooky Corpse. So long ago. It seems so long ago.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Greetings, Dark Mark and Karis the Little Mummy. Scary Larry here. First, congratulations, Dark Mark, for reaching this milestone of 100 episodes. You rock. Second, hey Karis, why was a jack-o'-lantern afraid to cross a road? It had no guts.
Maybe it's me, but I'm starting to think this guy wants my job.
Onward. For this episode, I'm going to give a quick review of 3 movies, 2 new and revisiting one forgotten classic. Watched Heretic. I believe it's streaming on Max. I'm giving this one 2.5 out of 5. The pluses. I really appreciate a well-known star taking on a role they've never really portrayed and nailing it. You'd never look at Hugh Grant and think, Lord, he'd make a great psychopath. It would be like Mr. Rogers playing Hannibal Lecter. He did a great job. The premise on the surface had great potential. One of the things said about serial killers, they say they love about victims. It isn't necessarily who they are or how they look, but being able to convince the victim to go with or do something with them. In this movie, that was brilliantly depicted. Here's where I take points off. First, it took far too long, almost an hour, to reach the action. I felt I could have gotten to the heart of it in half the time. Second, it had far too much dialogue in the first half. It seems like the writer-director felt the audience wouldn't get the point of the cat and mouse game, so they had to explain it like the audience are toddlers. Once it got going, it was good, but I felt they could have trimmed it down to the horror standard of about 90 minutes. Onward. My psycho sister and myself went and saw The Monkey. 3.5 stars. I told Mark I gave it a 9.8 on my weird poopometer. There, Karis, I cleaned up the language for you. I love the deaths, hysterical movies. I knocked off half a point for giving me Final Destination vibes, but I do recommend. Lastly, I rented the original Howling. Now, I haven't watched this from start to finish in like 35 years. I appreciated it highly upon revisiting. It made a lot more sense from an adult lens, and I'm tickled pink to realize that a childhood favorite, Gremlins, was directed by the same Howling director, Joe Dante. It is a harsh reality, but it only gets 3 stars from me since I find the FX in American Werewolf in London was just a superior product. The transformation was way creepier in The Howling, but they relied too much on shadows and dark scenes, where American Werewolf in London showed everything in that first iconic transformation. Both came out about the same time, and just because American Werewolf in London was such a better movie, it overshadowed The Howling, in my opinion. Lastly, I'm not going to do well on these trivia questions, but here goes. How much did Arnie pay for Christine? I have $400 in my head. What was the name of the book by Clive Barker that the film Hellraiser is based on? Only thing I could come up with in my brain is The Cenobites. What was the name of the orderly at the asylum that houses Hannibal Lecter? No clue. What is the name of the Candyman? No clue. What is considered to be the first horror movie ever made? My guess is The Cabinet of Dr. Kilgary. What is the name of the Dance Academy in Suspiria? No clue. What year did the Academy create the category Best Makeup? I do want to say 1981. I could be off though. What was Wes Craven's last film? I'm guessing Scream. Name of pub in American Werewolf in London. That's an easy one. The Slaughtered Lamb. Date the narrator in Texas Chainsaw Massacre took place. I want to say 1972 or 3. I cannot nail that number down. Another trivia question is, what actor was the narrator? He was in a favorite 1980s sitcom of mine. And there you go. Those are my answers.
I think maybe possibly I might have made the trivia challenge too hard. I should have went softer on everyone. And I'm giving you the last answer because you did say 1973. although I was looking for the full date, which is August 18th, 1973. But I gave it to you because, unfortunately, winners who got all 10 will receive the crown, King or Queen Macabre. People who do not, unfortunately, like you, Larry, I'm going to have to put you into the elevator to the pit of hell. I am sorry.
That's harsh. The elevator to the pit of hell. Ooh.
When you only got 100 years to live, half time goes by. Suddenly you're wise, another blink of an eye. 67 is gone, the sun is getting high. We're moving on.
Hey, Doc, we got Kill Cat on the line. Another Monster Kid first time calling.
Hi, Mark. It's Kathy. For your 100th episode, congratulations and have a great, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for the voice message, Kill Cat Kathy. And please, keep them coming. Tell us about your favorite horror film. Maybe one that's coming out. Maybe you want to defend one that I've trashed all over, but you love. We hope to hear from you again soon. A while back, Scary Larry reviewed Would You Rather, which is playing on Shudder right now, and I had a chance to see it with Laura Horror, and we enjoyed it. It was a good film, but I couldn't help thinking, what would Eli Roth do with this script? I'd like to see that. I don't know so much that Laura Horror would want to see that, but I would want to see that. And I had a good topic I'd like to put out there maybe for the next show. I was curious as to what movie...
Oh my goodness.
Here's Horror Chat. Hey, Doc Mark, Little Karis, and all the Monster Kids hanging out at the Macabre Theater for the big 100th episode. Sorry, Karis, to go out Jack Torrance on the front door, but, it is a big episode. Hopefully we got a little more money in the budget to replace that thing. Doc, first of all, I just want to say congratulations on an amazing milestone. Who would have thought we would have hit 100 episodes, but here we are. And I have to say, I'm going to have to brush up on that horror trivia. I only hit 65% of those questions. Definitely some room for improvement. Dark, I just want to thank you for all your time, energy, and hard work that you put into each and every week's episode. I just want you to know how much all the Monster Kids out here appreciate it. You really make Monday mornings a little more bearable when that new episode drops. Anyways, I'm going to keep this one short. Thanks again for creating a great, fun environment and great community of Monster Kids. I'm sure we all enjoy it, hopefully as much as you enjoy making it. As always, Dark, make my Macabrecast and keep bringing us all the latest news in the world of Macabre as we look forward to each and every week's episode. And now that we got 100 in the books, let's go for 200, 300, all the way up to 1,000 in about 15 years.
Horror Chat, thank you for the kind words. And, that's what Macabrecast is all about. Making your week a little brighter, maybe putting a smile on your face, and maybe, just maybe, walking away with a new horror movie to track down, or maybe even a new viewpoint of an old one. As always, hope to hear from you again soon, my friend. Horror Chat, Matt. Hang loose. So, right before Horror Chat Matt knocked the door in with the fire axe, I was about to propose a topic for next week's show that I'd like to hear from you about. I'd like to know what movie bothered you so much that you could never care to see it again. And I'm not even going to give one. I've kind of done this before, and I don't want to influence anything. And I'm just curious to know what movie bothered you so much you could never care to see again.
I couldn't not leave a voice message for the iconic 100th episode of Macabrecast. A huge shout out to Horror Laura for supporting Dark Mark in all his endeavors, and to Dark for creating this family-like sanctuary for fellow monster kids like us. Thank you, family, for 100 wonderful episodes.
What a nice message. Thank you, Carnage Karen.
Happy 100th to Macabre Theater! Hello! Hi, Monster Kids! Happy to celebrate 100 episodes with you. I know I had mentioned a special segment with Twin Grim Twin, but Kimmy's going on day 11 of back pain, and I mean, it is sucking the life force right out of me, and I'm glad I have things like Macabre Theater to keep me having some volition to hang in there, because it's getting difficult. So I didn't meet with my sister today, but I had something in my back pocket, and I'm going to share it. In actually, my cranky, distressed mood is the perfect impetus for this little monologue I'm going to drop you. It harkens back to the origins of Macabre Theater, or perhaps the prequel to, which was specific to one of Mark's favorite movies, and boy, did he do some deep dives into that. It was fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, I would suggest you do. An homage to Mark, Dark Mark, Little Karis the Little Mummy, all the monster kids in our inception into the world of all things macabre. I do leave you my little soliloquy, and best wishes for this coming week. Send me some good energy for my jacked up back, and I will be back when I am back. Until then, enjoy. Really, no title necessary. And if you don't know what I'm talking about right now with this monologue, I'm sorry to say, but you might not be able to even be a monster kid. You're going to have to earn your way in if you don't know. And away we go. Oh my Lord. So young, so pretty. Oh, what monster could have done this? Oh God, this place. Steve never should have opened this place again. There's been too much trouble here. Did you know that a young boy drowned the year before those two others were killed? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. His name was Jason. I was working the day that it happened, preparing meals. Here, I was the cook. Jason should have been watched every minute. He wasn't a very good swimmer. We can go now, dear. What? Wait for Mr. Christie? Well, that's not necessary. I am Jason. I am. You see, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday. Where's Mr. Christie? Oh, I couldn't have let them open this place again, could I? Not after what happened. Oh, my sweet, innocent Jason. My only child. Jason, you let him down. You never paid any attention. Look what you did to him. Look what you did to him. End scene. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. I can't wait to hear the episode. Hang in there no matter what you're going through. I feel for you. Life can be so hard, and it's just about finding those shreds of joy even in the midst of darkness and pain. And I bid you adieu. Until next time, happy 100th. Love, Grim Kim.
Okay, stop the presses. Somebody call Peacock. We need to recast Pamela Voorhees. That was fantastic. That was so awesome, Grim. Really, really cool. I think Grim needs a part in one of the terror episodes over on the sister YouTube channel, Terror. As always, thanks so much, Grim. Can't wait to hear from you again soon, and say hello to Grim Twin for us as well.
It's my kind of
You want I should wash the dead bugs off the windshield?
Hey, Dark Mark and Karis, the little mummy. Congratulations on your 100th episode. I just got done watching the 99th episode, and that was really good. And as far as the trivia goes, I couldn't think of a single one off the top of my head, except one. And you know which one that is. Suspiria, of course. I'm not going to give away the answer because I'm thinking you're going to do that today on your show. But, yeah, I know the answer to that one. Also, I wanted to mention that I saw a movie last week that I've never heard of before, and I found it very interesting. It didn't get great reviews, but to each his own. What I find interesting doesn't always match what other people find interesting, so I don't care. But the movie was called Betwixt Now and Sunrise. It was made in 2012. It was written and directed by Francis Ford Coppola. And it's based on a dream that he had that also involves the death of his son in some way. It's changed, but I thought it was pretty good. And they involved a little bit of Edgar Allan Poe, which I love. And the cinematography was really good, too. So, yeah, I liked it. And I was wondering if you saw it or if you had any thoughts. And I'd also want to mention this week that I had a great time at the Blue Ocean. Thank you very much. And thank you for your drummer for talking to my kid, because now she's actually thinking of doing a side gig with a metal band. So she'll go from Shy to some metal band that she's auditioning for, which it's more of a death metal band. So, well, we'll see how that goes. But thanks to him, she got to see what, real drummers do. You guys were great. You, of course, were amazing, and she was so impressed. Thank you. But anyway, I just called in to say happy 100th. I really don't have that much to say. So until next time, when I watch more movies, happy hunting for horror movies, that is. Keep them coming. Hi, Grim Kim.
I remember hearing about that Francis Ford Coppola film when it was coming out, and I was excited to see it. And then, like everything, it fades into obscurity, and then I forget all about it and probably didn't think about it again till you brought it up. Where could I see that? Is that streaming anywhere? Because I am interested in seeing that. And thank you so much for the nice words about the Blue Ocean Music Hall show. Really appreciate you and your family supporting us and showing up, and I'm so glad that you had a good time. So great to hear from you, Tina from Chicago. Hope to hear from you again real soon.
Monster Kids. Hey, Drac Pack. Laura Horror here. First, I want to say congratulations to Dark Mark on his 100th episode. Woohoo! Awesome job and awesome show. I listen every week, even though I'm not always on. Sometimes I like being more in the background. There were a couple of things that were talked about that I wanted to talk about. Firstly, Scary Larry brought up B movies and what are the good B movies and what are the horrible mention B movies. So I have a little list. It's a short list, but for good movies, I agree with Dark Mark. Brain Damage is a great B movie. I also am a big fan of William Castle's 13 Ghosts. And from back in the day when I used to watch Creature Double Feature with my dad, the Tarantula movie. My horrible mentions are Basket Case, absolutely. Oh my gosh. That movie is great if you want a good laugh at how bad it is. And there's another movie about a mother who abuses her son and makes him be a baby his whole life, even though he's a grown-up.
Ew, seriously? That is so gross.
I believe it's just called The Baby. And that was just so disturbing, creepy, but not in a good way, and just bad. So that's that. For the next topic, the survey. Yeah, the contest. The 10 questions I ought to be shot because I know these movies, seen these movies. I should know a lot of the answers to these, but I just don't have a head for the details. So I'll give it my best shot, which is kind of pathetic. First one. How much money did the main character pay for Christine? Oh, I know it was enough to wipe out his meager bank account, and I think it was like $400, but not sure. Second question, the name of the book Hellraiser was based on. I honestly have no idea, and I'm sure that Dark Mark has told me before, and I just don't remember. The third question is, I think, the only one I might actually get right. The name of the orderly in Silence of the Lambs was Barney. 4, Candyman's name, one of the ones I ought to be shot for because I've seen that movie several times. Love that movie. Have no idea. I just don't remember. The fifth question, first horror movie ever made. I want to say if it wasn't Nosferatu, it was actually a Dracula movie pre-Bela Lugosi. Hope I'm right on this one. Number 6, name of Dance Academy in Suspiria. Ought to be shot. I used to be a ballet dancer. Have watched that movie 1,000 times. Have no idea. Number 7, the Academy Awards question. No idea again. Wes Craven's last film. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I really like Wes Craven and I like his movies. I really don't know. Number 9, name of the pub in American Werewolf of London. I used to know this. I know this. Drawing a blank. And Chainsaw, I want to say it's sometime in 1972, but I don't remember for sure. So you all will do better than I did. So I hope everybody's brave and takes a stab at it. I know I am not going to be crowned the queen this time around. Everybody have a great week, and congrats again to Mark.
So sad when you have to send your own wife down the elevator to the pit of hell, but such is life.
So why are you grinning?
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, Doc, Mark, and the Monster Kids. First, let me say that I really enjoy being in this group. Horror Chat, Matt, Grim Kim, Scary Larry, and anybody else who participates. I learn a lot about horror movies that I've never seen before, and Mark, of course, you too. I learn a lot about horror movie facts. It's just very interesting, and I appreciate the movie reviews as well as I input into them too. So it helps me to know what to rush out to see or what to wait till it streams. But anyway, and Mark, I was laughing at your shamalala ding dong when you're talking about the trap movie. I don't even know how to say his name either, so shamalala is good. Trivia questions times. Okay. First question, how much money did Arnie pay for Christine? I don't know this one, but I'm going to guess $700. What is the name of the book by Clive Barker that the film Hellraiser is based on? No clue. I wasn't really into books, just movies, so I have no idea what book he would have based that on. No clue. 3, what is the name of the orderly at the asylum that houses Hannibal Lecter? Again, no idea. I think people are brilliant if they can remember that. 4, what is the name of Candyman? All I remember that his first name was Daniel Trouble Ding Dong. No, Daniel somebody. 5, what is considered to be the #1 horror movie ever made? I believe that is House of the Devil. I believe years back I looked this up to see what it was because I was curious. 6, what is the name of the dance academy in Suspiria? I have no idea. 7, what year did the Academy create the category Best Makeup? I don't know, but I'm going to guess maybe, I don't know, 1985, somewhere like the early 80s, I'll say mid-80s. What was Wes Craven's last film? That was easy, My Soul to Take. I thought it was a good movie. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't hate it. But it was okay. I liked it. But I noticed he hadn't made anything after that. So that's my guess. Number 9 was so easy. Name of the pub in American Werewolf in London. The Slaughtered Lamb. Who can forget this one? Come on, who can forget? And unless you didn't see the movie before. But if you saw the movie, that sticks in your head. You're going to remember that. And 10, date narrator said Texas Chainsaw Massacre took place on. I know it was the summer of 1973, but I have no idea what the actual full date was. So yeah, I might have that half right, I think. So there are all my answers. I think I might have got at least 3 correct. I don't know, but damn it. No frickin' crown for me, though, that's for sure. Oh, I was just talking smack anyway. I knew when I saw the questions I was only getting a couple right. I was just talking smack on Facebook. So yeah, that's it. Kim, I'm actually watching Silence and Darkness right now. I know that was one of the movies you had recommended with the deaf and the blind girl. So we'll see how that goes. It's interesting so far. So I'm sure it'll be a good movie. And that's all she wrote. I can't wait to hear the 100th episode and see who got the most answers and who is the queen or king of Macabre. So we'll see. Hope everybody has had a good weekend, because you won't get this till Monday. And have a good week. And that's it. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Horror Trivia Challenge.
Go ahead, Metal Melody. Hop on in and we'll elevate it to the pit of hell. Hey, don't forget your sweat jobs.
Well, Metal Melody, you got the Candyman's first name, so I gave it to you. And I was looking for the full date for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I've been kind of lenient on that too. And if you got the year right, I gave you that too. But the Craven one, sorry, he may have been working on that project in the years leading up to his death, but that was not his final directorial project. As always, so great to hear from you. You almost did it. You did a good job, Metal Melody. You really did. Could have got that crown, but instead you ended up in the pit of hell. So we hope to hear from you again soon, even from down there.
Hey Monster Kids, this is Jack-O-Lantern signing in. I don't have any answers for the quiz that was given last week, because ashamedly, I used to call myself a connoisseur of horror, but after the list came out, I'm not so sure how true that is. But instead, I was going to list off, just like Scary Larry and my dad did, some different B movies that I enjoyed and did not enjoy. I think these are pretty universal too. Ones that I don't like, I'm going to list them off and then I'll explain why I don't like each movie. So, to start off, the ones that I don't like, we have Frogs, Barracuda, and potentially Chopping Mall. So, the reason for Frogs, if anyone's heard of this movie, first of all, it follows the same format as, like, you know, giant spiders, giant tarantulas, giant praying mantises, which I was never really a big fan of those kind of movies anyways. But for Frogs, it was about a whole jungle of animals attacking members of a specific family. It's like a curse or something, but all they did the whole movie, even though the whole jungle was attacking them, was blame the frogs. And I never really understood why exactly they just blamed it on one specific species of animals, and why it was frogs of all things. Like, they could have named the movie Pythons and it would have been much better. For my next movie, Barracuda, again following a similar plot. I love Jaws, but they came out with many movies after that, or after or before, or around the same time as that followed the same plot line. But this one, the problem with this one was it was not following the same plot line in the best way they could have done it. The acting was terrible for the most part. Instead of focusing on the Barracudas attacking the people, the government was basically against the people and were sending the Barracudas signals to, I don't remember the whole thing, but it was basically some government plot. The movie was very hard to follow. For the third movie, Chopping Mall, I actually haven't seen that yet, but I've heard many different from many different sources, the movie is pretty terrible. My friend actually gave it to me as a gag gift. I've been wanting to check that out, so, I mean, just for laughs. I know I'm not going to enjoy it very much, but as for the movies that are, B movies that I do enjoy, I think Scary Larry said this. I agree with you 100%. Evil Dead is still to this day one of my favorite horror movies in general, like B-list or not. Honestly, I never classified it quite as a B movie, but I do see where you're coming from, where the graphics are slightly outdated, but it's definitely one of my favorite horror movies. Just for obvious reasons. I just thought it was really definitely better than the second one, in my opinion. For my second good mention, I think it's called Tourist Trap. It's honestly, I would put it. Many people wouldn't. This is my hot take, but I would put it on par with Texas Chainsaw, and I feel like it's a very similar feel to that movie. Very, very unnerving. Especially, I'm not going to get too into details if you guys want to see it, but there's a certain line that gives me chills every time I see it. I'm not going to say the line because I don't want to spoil anything. For my last pick, Happy Birthday to Me, that I just really like how different that movie was for a lot of different reasons. Like, just it went there in a lot of dark places. I mean, quick spoiler alert, if you want to see the movie, just skip over this part, but my favorite part of the movie is where the girl, the main character, takes a kebab skewer and puts it down someone's throat in a very unexpected time for her to do so. Very, very graphic, scary movie. Definitely worth a watch. Hopefully those who haven't seen it skipped over the part that I just said. But yeah, so I just wanted to pop in for the 100th episode and hopefully do some more. I will see you guys later.
Well, to each his own, Jack O'Lantern. But I did like Tourist Trap, but would never put it in with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there were very few that came after that even compared. But that's my opinion. So, all in all, good list of good and bad. And thank you for joining us for the 100th. Hope to hear from you, Jack O'Lantern, again. 100 episodes. And this show could not be what it is without you, the Monster Kids, especially the Drac Pack. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. I will continue to try to keep it interesting and fun, and I hope you all will hang here at the theater for another 100. And you Monster Kids who bit the bullet and sent in your first voice message this episode, awesome. Let's do it again, soon. Thank you all. My cup runneth over with blood.
This is a Macabre Theater production.
100.